Hello YouTubers, it's Joshua428 speaking. In this commentary, I'll be commentating on Dicksponge Entertainment, and this commentary on me. Now before I begin this, I will admit that I made a short cutaways for no reason, and will do text every time I use 10 words or less. Now with that out of the way, let's get dangerous. Hello YouTubers, this is Joshua428 speaking. Today's commentary, I'll be commenting on, once again, the mysterious actor as most recent animated atrocity. I'm going to be honest, I saw this first before I looked at what he reviewed. I don't think the Powerpuff Girls 2016 reboot is all that bad.
Here we come across a pretty big problem in a lot of Joshua's videos. So many of his targets are from, not that the video itself is actually bad, but, oh, I just like this thing, I need to defend its honor. This is not an opinion piece, this is a commentary. Treat it like a commentary.
What kind of commentary? An expression of opinions or an offering of explanation? Because, to be honest here, I'm using both.
So, in this version of the show, the Powerpuff Girls have been moved to grade school. Miss Keene has been moved there too for some reason. And you know, I'm not too bothered with this, in principle. The girls going to an actual grade school helps the show relate better to the target audience. And there is much more room for stories in an elementary or middle school rather than a kindergarten. However, remember what I said about cohesion? This show has none between episodes. If you want to have the girls in a grade school, you cannot have episodes like Little Octi Lost, where Bubbles brings her stuffed animal to school and thinks they could actually catch a softball. In elementary school, she's at an age where she's getting to be too old for that. Especially if the rest of her peers would start picking on her for hanging on to childish behavior. You know, considering getting bullied for looking like a baby was the first thing that happened to her when she actually came to school. In Horn Sweet Horn, Bubbles gets fun of for believing unicorns exist, but she doesn't get fun of for having a stuffed animal through a sports game. You see where I'm going with this, right?
Okay, I'm going to start telling. Every time I turn that picks a certain point in the show, I'm going to mark it. As for answer, you do realize that a certain part of the episode will not destroy the entire show. There has to be enough flaws that aren't nitpicks in order for it to be considered bad.
This leads to another problem in Joshua's videos. He loves to use annoying buzzwords that pop up way too much. In what realm is complaining about lack of cohesion and continuity nitpicking?
1, he only said cohesion. 2, as long as they are making morals, it doesn't matter. Heck, some of these things link to the moral, so it does have cohesion. It's just not used in a logical way.
Another slightly smaller problem is his annoying little tally game. It pops up almost all the time. So many of his videos have this little tally game trope that hasn't been used since like 2011. Even if it was used today, you still use it way too much.
Does it really matter? No, really, does it matter? As long as I'm making points, that's all that matters.
Is it an ice cream party? Early dismissal party? UFO party?
Okay, I know that everyone talks about the voice acting, and for the most part, I don't mind it. It takes some getting used to for most of them, but there are two voices I just can't, I literally just can't even. They're Princesses and Buttercups. Since Princess isn't even here, let's talk about Buttercups.
What about the grammar lesson? I thought it was, really important or whatever. Huh. Have you seen Bubbles? Yeah, we're unhappy. Oh.
The voice actress is trying too hard to sound like a boy. You know how adult female voice actresses play male children, right? This voice should be used for that. It gets really distracting, and it makes it seem like Buttercup is being a poser and faking her tomboyishness, overcompensating because she's insecure about it. And that's not her character at all as portrayed by the writing. Also...
You know the main problem with tallies like this? They tend to not really explain well, in this case, why something is a nitpick, unless it's insanely obvious, which this isn't. All he's doing is complain about the voice acting. That's an okay thing to do.
People, do any of you care about Buttercup's voice acting or gotten used to it? Because I don't care.
Buttercup acts like an asshole in this version of the show. Back in the original, yeah, Buttercup could be defiant, but outright mocking her elders isn't something that she really did. I get it, I really do. They want to change up the personalities a little, make the girls individuals, which is why none of them are in the same class, for instance. But being an asshole for a main character trait. This is usually reserved for those totally radical shows that try to show off that their hip and edgy main character is a total rebel. You know, like Otto from Rocket Power. To the extreme!
I actually thought I feared her character. Sure, the voice sounds forced, which is a nitpick, but I think why it works here is because she's getting to the point where she thinks she's old enough to think she could do what she wants. It's not an excuse, but it's understandable.
So you admit that your argument is pretty thin. Wow, that's a new level of bullshit right there, man. I don't think we've ever seen something like this before. But in all seriousness, where are you getting this from? You haven't shown anything that says that Buttercup has acted like this before. For all we know, there probably could, but you never show that.
So basically you want to be spoon-fed. Okay, While they don't outright state this, it is possible that puberty is taking over the minds of Buttercup. Heck, some people can change for puberty. Now use your head. That's what I do.
So a kid comes running by, and Buttercup trips him because she can do whatever she wants because everyone else is high on ecstasy. And she is not because... Okay, it's never explained why the Powerpuff Girls are not high on ecstasy right now.
I thought it was obvious. The rainbow is strong enough to take control of them. Seriously, you have a brain answer. Use it!
Okay, from what I can tell from your garbled alien speech, that barely even counted as an explanation. That was more of a cop-out, if anything.
Hotter than a motherfucking fiesta of fat bitches in a porta potty hotboxing some Louis the 13th out the bong, my nigga, like God.
It's called common sense. If someone has superpowers, chances of them resisting varies. 2. Implying that I didn't give them ad hominem before I gave them the answer.
You know, I'm sure we're all gonna have a lot of fun watching this in 5 to 10 years. This show, it's gonna be up there with all the greats. You know, like Quack Pack and Yo Yogi. Those are the classics. Also, why is Bubbles affected now, but not before? It's getting more distracting by the second.
Because she was close enough to the rainbow to be affected? Really, do you really need a clue to get the obvious?
I love this part because not only is he using the exact same cop-out argument as he used before, but now it's squashed right in his face. What's with the other girls? Why are they not being affected? Why is it just Bubbles?
Isn't it obvious? The rainbow doesn't have enough power to affect the other two.
Okay, here's a problem that I've noticed that was most consistent with all of the episodes, even the more tolerable ones. The pacing of the stories. The pacing is absolutely shit most of the time. Sometimes they linger way too long on certain scenes, like here in the Panda's Raid, which takes up about half of the episode. At other times, they move too quickly, like the anarchy down below. You're supposed to show that this joy is bad, and to do that, we're gonna need to see a little bit more mayhem.
I thought there was enough mayhem. You see, Enter, there is little time that they can show the mayhem. If they let go too quickly, it will leave others confused. You also need to keep kids in mind.
Once again, this is not an opinion piece, this is a commentary. You can't just say,
Dude, I like this part, that means you're wrong.
and just expect to get away with it.
Implying I didn't explain the facts on time constraints. Pacing itself isn't the problem with the show in general, it's the time constraints. You can argue all you want that the pacing is terrible when that's not the case. I would like to see more chaos, but for what I got, it's enough for me. And that's because we need to see the girls finally solve the problem. Final thoughts, you are more butthead than me. When I point out your flaws, you pretty much ignore them because of ad hominem reasons. So basically, you are a hypocrite. Go back to making please because you are not cut out for this. Now with that out of the way, this is just ready for 2-8, signing off.